What's good, fight fans? It's Ashley's Corner. Shout out to the LDBC and everybody doing that real and true boxing talk. No clickbait, if you understand what I'm saying. It's gonna be a quick video. I just seen it on my man Dante's Boxing Nation, so I'm gonna help spread this word and get this out to everybody that's fans of Mikey Garcia or fans of Errol Spence or fans of the fight. That this fight is looking to take place in Arlington, Texas. It will be a pay-per-view fight. It will happen on March 16th is the date that they're looking for. And this is going to be a doozy. I think everybody's going to come out and support. Mikey Garcia got a huge fan base. Some would say it's even bigger than Errol Spence because Errol Spence started years after Mikey Garcia started. I believe Mikey Garcia started at a very low weight. I think 126 or 130 or something like that. And he is a 4 different division champion, world champion. You know what I mean? That right there holds a lot of weight. It's a lot of great fighters that hasn't even come close to that feat. You know what I mean? That hasn't became champion in 4 different weight classes, 3 different weight classes, even 2 different weight classes. There's a lot of good fighters out there that don't even have that on a resume. And Mikey Garcia does. I mean, I understand that he some people look at him as a cherry picker, and honestly, I can't think of one fighter that didn't fight a cherry pick, regardless if they asked for the cherry or they were given the cherry. They still fought and was in the ring with somebody that wasn't supposed to be in the ring with them at all. I mean, so saying that, I am a fan of Mikey Garcia. I like his style of fighting. Of course, I like knockouts. I think he's a very intelligent fighter. You know, his ring IQ is good. He always know where he's at in the ring. He's always in good position. And he doesn't use his jab that much. He likes figuring people out. I can tell by when he fought Robert Easter, which was the last fight he fought. Like he didn't really he didn't really do much. For him to be the shorter fighter with the lesser reach, he didn't really use the jab. He sat and looked at where Easter's head is going to be, how Easter moves his feet and gets around the ring. He just studied him for about a minute or two, and then just and then tried things, seen what worked with him. You know what I'm saying? Like it seemed like every time Mikey Garcia throws those short punches, whenever the fighter gets close to him, he doesn't commit for the most part. When he hurts a person or knocks a person out, it's because they got too close to him. Like Easter was keeping him off with the jab and everything. And then whenever he got close enough, that's when Mikey Garcia worked. He's not going to be able to do that with Errol Spence Jr. You know, with a lot of fighters that he do, he gonna have to try to throw the jab, but he can't. You know, because Spence throws a jab consistently. My bad. He throws it all the time. You know, Errol Spence, he's not the type of fighter to sit there and stare at you, but Mikey Garcia is. Mikey Garcia will stand there and stare at you until he feels like he's going to, like he has nice punch selection. He doesn't waste punches. So he's going to sit there and stare at you to make sure he figured you out so he can get his off. And that's just how Mikey Garcia fights. And it's smart because he knows what he's doing. He likes smothering punches. That's something he ain't going to be able to do either. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't able to do it against the very taller fighter, Robert Easter, of course, because of the reach. But somebody his size, he likes smothering the punches and getting in close, you know, working the body and stuff like that, which is probably going to be his game plan, to smother Errol Spence's punches. But I don't think that's going to work either, because Errol Spence doesn't stop throwing punches. And regardless of Mikey Garcia being a 4 division weight champion, he's never been a champion at 147, and he's sparred bigger guys. Of course, we know this, but he's never been in a fight at 147. You don't know how those punches will take hold on him come round 6 or round 7. But yeah, I'm gonna say that Mikey Garcia's last fight was July 28th this year against Robert Easter Jr. Spence's last fight was June 6th, a month and some change before, a month or 2 weeks before that, when he fought Ocampo. Now, real quick, the specs. Spence is 24-0, 21 knockouts. He's fought for only 96 rounds. He has an 88% knockout rating. He's 28 years old. He's 5'9.5" with a 72-inch reach. Mikey Garcia specs is 39-0. He has 30 knockouts. He's fought for 219 rounds to Spence's 96 rounds. He has a 77 knockout percentage, and he's 30 years old. He's 5'6" with a 68-inch reach. He's from Cali. I think he fights out of Texas, but he's from Cali. And Spence is from Texas. He's from DeSoto, Texas. So this is going to be like the battle of Texas, since both fight out of Texas, you know what I'm saying? And I look at it as Mikey Garcia coming up one weight class. I don't look at him coming up from 135, even though that's his main weight class. I look at it as him coming up from 140. I look at it as him coming up one weight class. And I say that because his last fight against Robert Easter was the only fight was at 137-35, of course, because that was a unification fight. But the fight before that was Sergio Lipinets. That was at 140. The fight before that was at 140 against AB. So, I'm looking at it as him coming up one weight class. I do see the same thing everybody else is saying, that, when he goes up a weight, he's not, he doesn't have the body build to go with it. You know what I'm saying? And, and the way that Errol Spence like to dig in the body punches, I believe that should be the first place that should be the first place Errol Spence goes. Errol Spence is going to hurt his body. Errol Spence has 4-inch reach on Mikey Garcia. He's 2.5 inches taller than, he's 3.5 inches taller than Mikey Garcia. Mike Garcia does have good power. His power is underrated because a lot of people don't talk about it. But enough boxers tell you that he has good power. You know what I mean? So that's going to be something that I want Errol Spence not to fuck around. I don't want him to play around with Mikey Garcia at all. I want him to go in there and demolish him on some Lamont Peterson type stuff. And I heard a lot of people talking about what Mikey Garcia said, that he's seen something in the Lamont Peterson fight that exposed Errol Spence in his opinion, and that's why he think he has a shot in beating him. What about the fights before and after Lamont Peterson is my question. But do you remember how we looked at that fight? Like, Errol Spence was playing around, he was throwing stuff out, he was just throwing stuff out there. You know what I mean? If he thinks that he can play around with Errol Spence in the ring to get Errol Spence that calm, cool, and collected to play around with Mike Garcia, he got another thing coming. He ain't gonna play with Mike Garcia. The reason him and Lamont Peterson was friends, and he did Lamont Peterson like that. You understand? Lamont Peterson was like an older cat that Errol Spence used to go watch his fights. I think he gave Errol Spence a couple tips on boxing and stuff like that. They were cool. Ain't nobody cool with Mikey Garcia. They not hating. You know what I'm saying? They don't hate each other, but they ain't friends. And if he did his friend code like that, what makes you think he's gonna play around with you, Mikey? He's not going to play around with you. I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like Texas is Errol Spence's home state when it comes to boxing. That's how he looking. I know he's from New York at first, whatever, all of that, regardless. He fights out of Texas. He's fighting in Texas. He already fought at the Texas Stadium with a Cowboys train. Now he's going to be fighting at in Arlington. Man, he ain't going to be playing with no Mikey Garcia, and I'm glad, you know what I'm saying? But Mikey Garcia is basing his whole career, his whole 39-0 with 30 knockouts, his whole never been stopped, never been lost, his whole 4-division world champion, that whole banner, he's putting his name up against where Errol Spence and how Errol Spence fought against Lamont Peterson. Shame on him for that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, bro. It's one fight. And even if that was what Errol Spence's game plan is, every fighter can have a bad night. And I don't even think that was a bad night. He totally destroyed Lamont Peterson. That was easy work. He's basing all of this theory, his theory on beating Errol Spence off a easy work fight when Errol Spence fought Lamont Peterson. And I wanted to address Mike Garcia said that Errol Spence was going to back out of the fight or looking to back out of the fight. But what my thought was immediately is the same thing Black Fight Fans said on the Trill Boxing Talk, man, is that immediately I was like, okay, he's not calling Mikey Garcia out. Mikey Garcia is not in his weight class. Mike Garcia is calling Errol Spence out, but Errol Spence got plans of his own. Just like every fighter has plans of their own when they get their first belt. Just like Mikey Garcia did, okay? And his plans don't include Mikey Garcia. His plans include getting all the belts at welterweight, and Mikey Garcia isn't a welterweight. That's clear. It's plain and simple. It's easy to tell. Now, and since Sean Connery was walking around acting like this is the easiest fight to make, and signs was pointing to him ducking, but still behind the scenes it might happen. We don't know what was being told to Errol Spence and what he was hearing as far as fighting Sean Connery. So if the whole time he's planning to fight Mikey Garcia and then a little birdie comes in my ear from his team like, yo, we might be able to make the fight, I'm going to back out of it immediately. Immediately I'm going to back out of the Mikey Garcia fight because Mikey Garcia, just like Thurman said, ain't on my to-do list. Because, Mike Garcia isn't a welterweight. So, if another welterweight, I don't care if I'm Errol Spence in the fight and I'm at the table ready to sign the paper to fight Mikey Garcia, and somebody with a belt run in and like, here, I got this contract for the same date for you to sign. Guess what? I'm signing the contract with the welterweight champion. I'm not signing the contract with Mikey Garcia. I don't care if he called me out for 10 years. It just is what it is. I got my own plans. I'm trying to become undisputed at 147. Just like he made a decision not to fight Robert Easter and went to fight Sergio Lipinets, and everybody called him a ducker. Everybody said he's scared of Robert Garcia. I think I was the only person on. I didn't hear one person say what I said. I was the only person like, look, he can beat Lipinets. If he can move up and get an easy title, like people say cherry picking, it is what it is. I said, if I was Mikey Garcia, I would fight Lipinets, and then after that, I would fight Robert Easter. But you know how fans can't wait. They don't believe this and they don't believe that. So the whole time he was a ducker. And then after he whooped Sergio and got that title, that his fourth title, making history title. When he got that title, what did he do? He fought Robert Easter next and beat his ass. Just like I said, Robert Easter is not a good... Buddy ain't shit, man. I'm sorry, but he wasn't... You're not going to beat Mikey Garcia. And then a lot of people had to eat crow because of all of that shit that they said about that fight. You know what I'm saying? And all the shit that they said about Mikey Garcia being scared of Robert Easter Jr. So it is what it is. You win some, you lose some. Anything can happen in boxing. And I can't wait for this fight. Along with a lot of other people that can't wait for this fight. I am going to buy this pay-per-view. I am going to watch this fight. You better believe it. I'm going to support this. I'm gonna support this fight, even though it's not a unification fight. It's not Earl against the other fighters at welterweight, but it is potential. It is pay-per-view, and I think it's going to be sparks are going to be flying. But honestly, I'm not going to be mad at all. I'm not going to be mad at all if I go to this fight. If I see this fight and it only lasts 2 or 3 rounds, I'm not going to be mad at it. Not even a little bit. I'm not going to be mad. Because that's exactly what needs to happen. You know what I'm saying? That's what needs to happen. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I am cooking. Like always. I'm always doing something when I make a video with you guys. But that's it and that's all. I hope you guys are going to be looking for this fight. And it's Mikey Garcia and Errol Spence. Because I think Mikey Garcia is going to do what he said. He is going to show that he has a lot of heart and show that he is a warrior in this fight, and he's gonna need it because Earl's gonna bang him up back. Wow, lies, yo, lies. I said it's gonna be a short video. It turned, you know what? I be trying to make a short video, and then things come to mind when I start talking. Lies. My apologies, but after the fight gets finalized and closer to the fight date, I will, of course, make another video stating how I think the fight's going to play out and who I think is going to win again, which I know is going to be Errol Spence Jr. But always like and subscribe to the channel. Peace.